Champions, welcome back to the Forge. Champions, in this competition, you need to be a master weaponsmith. So with that in mind, we've chosen a very special weapon. This is the longest blade that we have ever forged in round one history. That weapon is the wakizashi. Good luck, gentlemen. Your 3 hour starts now.
It may look like I'm taking extra long time. I'm basically the last one to get my weld going. However, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
My biggest concern right now is a clean weld and a tight weld. That's all I can think about at this moment. Nothing else matters.
I find the biggest hammer I could find, a few strikes, reflux, back in the fire. And I did it 3 times just to make sure. Once the weld is set, then I feel confident
Hot steel!
that I can go to power hammer. It is a solid billet all the way through. It is perfect.
Hot steel!
Derek's billet is tiny. I mean, it's not even an inch wide.
I am still not where I want to be, time-wise, but power hammer working has definitely made this a little more feasible.
The 2 pieces are sticking just fine. Now I can actually start drawing this thing out and working on my profile. And the thing that is important is the curve to the wakizashi. And curves are what I do.
With Kirk, you just see that farrier's technique. He whips that hammer and he kind of hinges at the hips at the same time.
I take my hibaki sample, and on the blade, I mark the points in which it needs to be, so I don't go too far in the grinder.
That hibaki is so specific in size.
Normally, you would make the blade and then set the hibaki to the blade. The hibaki is actually to keep the blade locked into its scabbard, primarily. It also keeps the guard from sliding up. It's going to be very important to how this thing works out.
Dave, over at the hero weapon, just matching everything up.
Having the blade there as a reference, it's like having an open book test. I'm taking the measurements off of it. I can see the curve of the blade. I can see where the handle begins. There's so much that's presented to you. I'd be a fool not to take advantage of that.
James, the billet is just looking exactly the right shape and size.
You have 45 minutes remaining to finish your work. Kirk is in the quench.
He's stirring it around.
Oh, good. That's a good recipe for bending. And not surprisingly, there's a warp.
I need to get this bend out. I press it down on the cold surface of the anvil so it'll suck the heat out of it and contract that side and pull that bend straight. And by golly, it worked.
Derek has quenched his blade.
I'm really happy with the harden, but it's so curved. That is bad news bears. But this little voice in my head goes, you could probably just put it on your thigh and just give it just a little bit.
Ah!
Oh, no.
What just...
Oh my God! No. So with 30 minutes left on the clock, Derek's blade is broken.
It's just gone. I'm not sure I'm gonna get this done. But then I'm like, all right, I've got another section of billet. Let's forge this sucker out.
Sit, back in the forge.
I feel like if he really put his mind to it, Derek could make this happen.
Yeah, I believe it.
But I was weighing it in my head, and I decided I don't have the time to do that.
Weld screen!
Either I MIG weld this thing together, or I don't have something to turn in.
He's butted the 2 ends together, and he's welding the blade back together rather than reforging. It's gonna be an inherently weak spot in the blade, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Nicholas has just quenched it.
It's gotta work. I gotta get this out.
Oh wait, now there's a mad scramble.
Don't break. Don't break.
I'll say it with you, brother, don't break.
When all else fails, talk to your metal.
I think it listened to me. I think it was okay.
10 minutes!
The difficulty in combining these steels will be in quench. And this is where poor welds can open up. I'm pulling the blade out of the oil, and also a little wobble. Wobbles happen in long, straight objects when you heat them all the time. So you address it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmith, drop your tools, shut down your machines. This first round of competition is over.
Bladesmiths, here in the first round, we upped the ante by asking you to make a wakizashi. Now it's time for the judges to take a closer look at your work. Kirk, please present your blade to the judges.
I like the curvature of this blade. It's very subtle. The steel looks good. You know, once that habaki goes on, those plunge grinds are going to have to go away. Traditionally, there's a very small shoulder, really only 1/8 of an inch, as it drops down into the tang. But what I like is that you've got the material here to do that. Good job.
Nicholas, please present your blade.
You have a really nice piece of steel here. The welds look really good. There is a little kick to your tang here. It just curves off to one side, but that's a huge amount of tang for a wakizashi, so that shouldn't be an issue to deal with.
All right, Derek, please present your blade to the judges.
I like the fact that it's got a traditional shape to the tang here. I would have liked to see a little more curvature to it to make it be more sort of a traditional shape. This is a very narrow blade. And then there's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It did snap. You had 30 minutes left. I was thinking maybe you were just gonna go for it and just blast out a blade in 30 minutes. We've seen it done. But instead you chose to weld this one back together. That welding makes things really brittle.
All right, Dave, you're representing pirates everywhere. Please present your blade to the judges.
All right, Dave. Your design here is a little bit more on the extreme curve and a wakizashi more like almost like a saber-like. But to me, a weapon's a weapon no matter where it's from. Don't tell me the Japanese didn't have pirates. Good job, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bladesmiths, unfortunately, there can only be one tournament champion. That means that one of you now has to leave the forge. The bladesmith leaving the forge is Derek. Your blade didn't make the cut.
Derek, you are definitely a Forged in Fire champion. But in this competition, when your knife broke, we just feel you chose the wrong workaround. And with that weld in the middle of a blade that's very, very lean, we just don't feel it's going to test out.
At this time, I have to ask you to please surrender your blade.
This was the expected outcome of today's performance. We all make mistakes, and this was a big one. I recommend this experience. Yeah, if you're into being a masochist, yeah, sure, you should do this.